Hello, welcome back to Wandering to Wellness. In a slightly different vein to usual, Finn and Lydia here with Sophie
Hi.
Anderton. Sophie, but you're
Sophie Anderton Belinska, if you really want to.
Anderton Belinska. I knew there was like.
Oh no, there's a fourth one as well, Junsalova.
Excuse
If
me.
you really want to get into the
Junsalova's
nitty
good.
gritty.
I
It's
like
not
it.
even double barrel, it's like quadruple barrel.
Well, it's only because my poor husband is either he's called Ella Belinska's dad or Sophie Anderton's husband. And so I haven't changed all my documentation because, to be perfectly frank, everyone's still.
Yeah, knows who you are.
By my maiden
That's the
name,
thing.
so
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so Sophie is here very kindly to do the very first in a really exciting series, What's in Your Bag from the Hopsack, from my shop, the Hopsack. So, as you know, we have like 44 years experience of dealing with health foods. We have this vast edit of like 5,500 different products,
Yeah.
and it's always really interesting to see what catches people's eyes, and particularly somebody like yourself who's worked around health and beauty and fitness for a long time. You know your stuff. So I wanted to see what sort of things you'd pick out. So maybe do you want to take us through some of the things in whatever order you want?
Well, thankfully I arrived just in the nick of time before Lydia filled up 2 baskets.
Yeah.
But for me, the first and foremost, and there's an interesting story behind this because I've never seen it stocked anywhere, and that's the gold water. So I discovered this, I must have been 32. It's when I did a kind of 360 on my life. And I went to a retreat in Bali with one of the world's most renowned white alchemists. His name's Guy Bergs. And when I came back and I did a 2-week silent meditation course, don't ask, hell.
Brave.
Yes, I actually punched holes in the wall.
Wow.
We
Literally.
knew that silence could be so painful.
Mm.
But afterwards, he treats me with gold water, and since then, I've never seen it anywhere.
Wow. Yeah.
So
gold
I'm sure
water.
it was a different variation.
Yeah, and I'd love to know what gold water he was using, but there you are, Aura Gold Water. Really, really interesting thing, because as we know, precious metals and precious minerals all have an ability to conduct electricity through our body as they do outside. We use the best Wi-Fi or the best hi-fi in the world. They'll always have Wi-Fi. Best hi-fi in the world. They'll always use gold because gold is such a powerful conductor, such a stable conductor of electricity. Same thing inside our bodies. So when we think about our traditional electrolyte minerals, we think about sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, what all these things necessarily do to prevent us from cramping, to prevent our eyes from strain, these sort of things. So gold is a really interesting thing to have to fund electrical conductivity, which is our body's ability to fund energy production in the cells, essentially. So that's why it's really exciting. It's also a binder. There's loads of other little giddy, weird, nerdy things, but without getting too much.
Okay.
Good pick. Great
Okay.
pick. Yeah.
So that's that one. This is protein powder. There's so much misinformation about protein powder out there. My husband being one of them, my mother-in-law's going to love you, by the way, because she's vegan and all happy, clappy singing. But I wanted to know more, especially for somebody like me who's always on the go. I've got into a bad habit of Haribo's being in my car, so I now need to do a protein shake with like an avocado and banana, so I've got something on the go to fuel my energy levels.
Beautiful. So protein obviously is so fundamental for life. Here we are. Protein's such a fundamental thing to life. So we think about immunity, proteins in there. We think about bone health, proteins in there. We think about neurological function, proteins in there. It's the building blocks that we all learned in biology when we were in school. It's like the building blocks of all life, but it actually has so much more functional aspect, because when we think about most of the functions in our body, physiological functions are related to enzymes. Enzymes that allow to break things down, to make new tissue, to fund production of neurotransmitters, all these sorts of things that kick on. They're all enzymes. Every enzyme is made of a string of amino acids which are made from proteins. So it's a big thing in terms of like skin health, like so many elements that we can't, like you can't list something in your body that doesn't need protein. Quality of protein in people's diets is really deficient. Even people go, oh, I have lots of protein, eat lots of meat. I have lots of rashers and sausages. Oh my God, that's not good protein. So this addresses that balance. It gives you really highly bioavailable absorbable protein that your gut will like, that your body, your cells will hoover up. It's as biologically active as whey, but it's not like immunologically problematic, which is one of the things. A lot of people take whey protein and they find their gut starts to get disrupted after like 30 days. So great pick again. Well done.
Yay. Now, again, another one with lots of misinformation and lots of chemicals out there when it comes to collagen. So this, I chose the Radiant Collagen, and over to you.
Over to me. Yes. Okay. So radiant collagen. So why is this interesting? This is actually a vegan collagen. Vegan collagen doesn't exist. You say yes, it's true, but vegan amino acids do exist. And so what they've done is they've taken the predominant amino acid, or the dominant amino acid inside collagen, which is hydroxyproline. which is the one that really supports the elasticity of the skin and the structure of the skin, also the structure of all the connective tissue around our joints, which is also really vital, another big part of like healthy aging and mobility and being able to train all the time. So that's a really, really cool thing. What I love about that one, they put in things like goji and zinc and iodine and biotin. Biotin is so important for keratin production for strong and healthy nails and all that, and hair and all that sort of stuff. So a great
especially
thing,
for hair growth as you're getting older as well, when the
big
hormones
time.
change, etc.
Yeah.
And I think also, like, when we get over the age of 30, our skin, the major problem with our skin is hydration. And it's not hydration the whole body, right? But especially in our skin. And collagen is such a great way to just increase that bounciness, that glowiness, and that kind of juiciness back in the skin. So I'm always getting everyone's take.
Alongside an avocado a day keeps Botox off. So
That's it, big
sorry,
time.
that's one of
More
my
we can do
sayings.
that,
I
the
just
better.
lisped when I said that. Sorry, guys.
Did I talk about that?
And then you've got the Vitality, which you recommended, and you this is one of your go-tos.
This is like a scary good supplement. We've been looking around for something like this. I'd say particularly since COVID, 5-Vitae. So a lot of people are talking about, and there's a lot of talk online about supplements for longevity. People talking about like nicotinamide riboside, nicotinamide mononucleotide, all these sorts of things, which are essentially what they're all doing is helping our cells to make energy more easily by giving them the electrons, giving them the electrical things, a little bit like our Goldwater as well, by giving them the electrical compounds that help to stabilize energy production and reduce oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is aging. It's the result of wear and tear in our body, which happens on a daily basis, but there are things that we take in more and more of that help to quench that. So give our body what's called more redox potential. So it gives your body more potential to produce energy and less of the damaging effects of that energy production. This is really interesting. Cordiart, one of the things that's in there, which is a rutinoside extract, which one of the things we've seen since COVID, the damage from the spike protein, both in COVID and in the vaccine, is a lot of damage to vasculature. So thinking of the little capillaries in our brain, a lot of people with brain fog and long COVID and these sorts of things, that's a really, really powerful thing to help to prevent that damage to that arterial lining and help improve oxygenation and hence improve brain function, cognitive stuff, all the good things. So I love that stuff.
So this is who would you say this is good for? It's people who are looking for longevity, people who are recovering from long-term illness.
That's kind of it, exactly. So I think they're that's kind of the same person actually. So like we're all interested. I think it's part of this switch that you're involved in, right? Towards like, you know, what is being optimally well and what does it look like over a lifetime, and that's this short-term kind of short-termism which everybody has around
Quick
health in
fixes.
general. Quick fixes, they don't really exist, and what we want to look at is like the best things we can put in our body today to help to give us a body that's going to function in 10, 20, 30 years in ways that unfortunately a lot of people around us won't. So those of us who are switched on and tuned into those things, this is like the supplement for them, I think.
Sounds
I'm so
exciting.
excited. No, I really am now. And then when it comes to, I don't know if you look at my Instagram, Lydia and I did a whole thing when it came to face yoga, and she has saved my jaw because I clench my jaw. So not only, yes, having a strong jawline is wonderful, but I'm always in agony because when I get stressed, I hold it here. So for me, not only on a beauty level, but the gua sha.
It's a beauty.
This beautiful little quartz is a lifesaver.
Isn't it? So we gave you our amethyst heart-shaped gua sha. Amethyst is particularly known for helping to manage sensitive skin. So it's really nice, cooling, calming gua sha. Obviously, gua sha necessarily should be kept nice and cool because it feels gorgeous on the skin. It's cool,
my
doesn't
husband's just like, not another thing in the little mini fridge.
Really?
Yeah, he's already removed all the sheet masks out of that.
I love it. So I mean, like, Lyd, really, you got me into this. Like, this is something I've got my little gua sha tool at home now. It's a whole part of like.
You can travel with it.
It's such a simple travel tool, isn't it?
Yeah, and so the great thing about it is, like you said, you don't need electricity. It's like an unplugged beauty tool. So you can unplug with your gua sha. And gua sha is actually the most ancient healing modality that's recorded in history. And the main point of gua sha is bringing up sha, which is heat. So it's all about dealing with inflammation in the body. And as so many of us have talked about now, inflammation being the root cause of so much disease. And it's also about, you know, when you do your exercise, when you're trying to look at recovery, all of those things, it's all about reducing inflammation. Especially when we look at skin, so much of us hold tension in our faces, and when we have our tension in our faces, we have a blockage there, then we have lack of circulation, all of the lymphatics aren't working, and then we're going to get things like dry eyes, headaches.
Yeah, I find that when this starts getting really tight, my eyes get quite puffy. coffee.
Hey,
because
that's
it's all
interesting.
interlinked.
Stagnation
It is
going on.
exactly
Yeah,
that
yeah,
mandible. And so we can do so much with this. We can look at like making our skin more glowy, we can look at improving the circulation and the lymphatics, but we can also use it as a tool to get into those tight bits and massage into them. So I just think once you learn the skills.
Do you remember when you were trying to teach me how to massage, and I was like, it's not unlocking.
It won't.
And I'm like, no, it won't move forward, my jaw. So actually we're going to be concentrating on doing an at-home series of exercises for me to unlock here, and also to pass across my sinuses. But also to do buccal massage as well.
The internal
that's
massage.
which can be really, I'd say it's really
I've
sore
got a
for you, is
feeling
it?
it's going to be really, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I have a feeling it's going to be really painful.
I will go gentle.
Nice.
But so those are some super picks.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
really
am
nice.
absolutely, honestly, Finn, I can't believe I've been living here since 2018 and I've never been to Hopsack.
We caught you eventually. We got you.
No, I
eventually.
know,
Nice.
but honestly, it's not just, it's all holistic and it's all healthy, it's all very clean and everything, but it's really interesting. And what I love is all the products in there you extensively research. So there's nothing in the store that hasn't been researched to the max, and every single ingredient and everything really, all the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed, and that's really rare because a lot of people say, oh no, it's clean, it's this, it's that, and you're just like,
you look behind
really
it isn't,
though?
yeah. Well, thank you very much for saying it. It's nice to I feel seen.
I haven't, and especially now I've discovered that actually there's a car park behind McDonald's.
Yes, now we know where to go.
I couldn't compute, and I'm so sorry I was late.
It's the same as everybody. It's the same
I
as
kept
everybody.
driving past, and
You're
I
like,
feel
how do I hit this?
McDonald's.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, it's like a haven.
Thank you.
So all those drinks and everything you fed me with, they really perked me up today.
Deadly.
I know we had the, what was it called? Is it called the sherbet?
There's a beetroot
Lemon
one.
sherbet.
Lemon
sherbet.
beetroot one, which I don't even like the taste of. I like beetroot when it's cooked and it's like it's incorporated into a dish.
Yeah.
But as a beetroot, I think it's because I was forced it at school.
It tends to be like
Cottage
pickled beetroot,
cheese.
particularly a lot of there you
Beetroot
go.
cottage cheese, traumatizing as a child. But it was utterly delicious.
Yeah,
and
great.
It
That's
really
what
perked me up.
I think when you're feeding good health, it's all like I'm not interested in feeding people health that they don't want to eat. I think that's what's nice about what we've done in Wandering to Wellness as well. Like it's very much a focus on like, okay, here's an a la carte menu. You choose what works for you. There's no point in beating people over the head. The same with your kids, the same with adults, it's the same with everyone. There's no point in bringing a horse to water and it's just like, nah, not interested. Force feeding it health. Like health should be about something you get pity about, really, isn't it? And you clearly are, which is nice.
Well, I think for me, I was in my teens, my 20s, I can't say I was incredibly healthy. Then I did that whole big 360 and I had to retrain myself when it came to my relationship with food and everything, so I was a model from the age of 14. So I had to say I had some unhealthy habits through my teens, my 20s is an understatement of the century.
We've heard about that industry, just a little bit,
But so when I pulled away and I did the 360 on my life, I really had to look into nutrition, and it was a slow process. It's not something overnight you just go, right, I'm going to be healthy, go all happy clappy green, I'm going to become a vegan, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I am a carnivore. I love my meat. I can't function without my red meat, and so I'm not going to. My mother-in-law will kill me, but I'm not apologising to anyone who's vegan out there. I have complete respect for other people, but for me personally, my body, it's taken me 16 years, and I've actually I'm learning, and I'm still learning. And when I meet people like yourself, and obviously Lydia as well, it's like I'm like a sponge soaking up information.
Great.
And I think that's the most amazing thing as you get older, it doesn't mean you stop learning. And there's such huge options and a variety and such huge amount of information, which is the right information out there. You just can't just sit back and just buy into all the marketing. You've actually got to go out and
look behind it,
and look
big
behind it.
time.
And I think that's why
Yeah,
small
bang on.
independent health food stores like that is so important, because so many of the products that get sold those other places, they aren't researched. There isn't someone there to tailor make it to you, to look at your body type and your lifestyle and go, actually, this one isn't for you, but this one is. This is
No size fits all. And I think it's very much the way I approach when I purchase food as well. Is I always go to the local butchers because I know it's locally sourced meat.
Same with Lid, exactly the same.
So for me, and it's very much supporting local rather than. And don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against big supermarkets. For certain things, they are amazing. But on the general whole, if I can find out where the source of the
I think the closer you are to where your thing is made, generally for everything, right? And for our homes, for our clothes, for our interior things, for the things we're putting on our bodies and in our bodies. Like when you can see the person who's making it, it leads to more care from them about who it's going to, because they can see their customer, they can see the consumer, and more care from us as well, because we care about what we're going to pay, because we care about the livelihoods of people behind it. I think that's what bringing that loop closer. This is like good for everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's why we wanted to do this. What's in your basket as
I
well?
can't believe you asked me to be your first guest.
I know.
Oh,
I'm really
so
thrilled.
nice.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
great. You've been a
Thank
great
you.
guest.
Actually,
Great
it was
guest.
so much fun. I don't normally like shopping, but it was so much fun, so informative. No, I don't. You know, ever since obviously the pandemic, being in stock,
Not
being
as
around
exciting.
close proximity
Yeah.
to people. But I think it's because I know that I've learned so much in that space, spending time with you, and
Nice.
I'm looking forward to learning more. by the
Hey,
way.
thank you.
But
Nice.
no, really,
Sweet.
fantastic.
Okay, well, it remains just to say thank you very much for tuning
Thank
in. There'll be
you.
more where this came from. I hope you enjoyed our What's Your Basket with Sophie Anderton.
Don't worry about
I was
that.
going to say, what's the third of the fourth
I
name?
was just sending you a curveball to make
Fail.
sure after a long day you were paying attention.
Okay, blooper reel, here we
Doesn't
come.
research our guests well enough.
God damn it. Okay, bye. Thanks.
Bye.